Welcome to Digital Futures Education. Today we're going to provide an overview for AI in education. So let's hop in. So the purpose and goals of this presentation is really to give you an overview of AI technology so that you have a base of the understanding of the AI terminology that might be used. We're also going to talk about a little bit about AI's current place in education so that we understand how it might be used, what are some of the potential opportunities, where it's going. We're also going to provide a little framework around how it can be used in your classroom. Additionally, we're going to give some additional topics and notes around using it for yourself, for your own efficiency, and also when using it with students, some things to think about. So let's keep moving through. So the first topics we're going to talk about is just basically giving some definitions. So what is AI? What is generative AI? And what is machine learning? So what exactly is AI? It's an important topic to discuss. Some people have certain ideas about what it is. Let's give a basic definition to what AI is. AI stands for artificial intelligence, of course, and it's like having a really smart computer. It's a computer program that can usually need it's a computer program that can do tasks that usually need human intelligence. Like solving problems or learning from information. AI can help us in many ways, like recommending movies to watch or even helping doctors make diagnosis. So let's talk a little bit about what generative AI is. Now, generative AI is a special kind of AI that can be creative, ultimately. It has a computer that can make its own art, write stories, or even compose music. So it takes the initial AI to another level where it creates its own constructs of ideas out of the information it's given. It's called generative because it can generate new things on its own, like drawing pictures or making up poems, all from the information that's provided. Generative AI uses what it learns from lots of examples to create something new and interesting. So ultimately, AI is like having a smart computer, while generative AI is a creative one that can make all sorts of cool things by itself. So some of the places where we can see AI in education is in plagiarism detection, learning management systems, chatbots, automated grading systems, intelligent tutoring systems, personalized feedback. So all places that we're inputting information and we're getting very specific types of information back from the computer generated programs within the AI. Some of the places where we're going to see generative AI kind of develop on the education landscape is with personalized learning paths for students. We're going to see it involved in course design, with generative AI being part of being creative with how courses can be designed. Also with content creation, with creativity, creating art, creating something from inputs. Ultimately, virtual tutoring will adjust and adapt to the information provided and provide responses that can automate services related to specific diagnosis for what a student needs. And ultimately, interactive learning games will also be an area that will utilize generative AI to help continue to support learners after they've provided responses. It will come up with challenging responses to help keep pushing learners. So when talking about AI, it's also important to talk about machine learning and give a definition to what machine learning is. Machine learning is a type of artificial intelligence that allows computers to learn patterns from large amounts of data that's been input by looking at examples of data that it's already collected and recognize the patterns in that data. And from the patterns, it will create new specific strategies around improving processes. In summary, AI and generative AI are transforming education and automating systems and learning processes, administrative tasks, providing personalized learning experiences for students, and creating new and original content to help enhance learning experiences. However, it is important to note while all these technologies offer many benefits, they also present challenges such as data privacy, security issues, and cannot replace human interaction and empathy that are essential in the teaching and learning process. So I want to share a few links to videos that I think are important to kind of provide an overview for AI. The first one is the CEO of OpenAI, who appeared on ABC News, and he discusses some of the potential upsides and downsides of the introduction of AI into our culture. I also want to share this Wall Street Journal video on AI in China, in which they talk a lot about the benefits of the AI to measure student engagement and learning processes, but it also talks about some of the darker sides of what China is doing potentially with the data, with the parents not being involved. And finally, a video that I highly recommend is AI researcher Philippa Hardeman, who appeared on TEDx. Her theories around AI and her work with AI are tremendously insightful, and I find that this is a great intro if you're really curious about where we see AI going in the future. So, under getting a better understanding of AI in education, it's a shift in the model of the experience. And Philippa says in her discussion on TEDx a lot about how this shift is moving off the stage on the stage model, which was introduced, and more to a personalized approach where students will be individually challenged with specific learning challenges because they have the challenge of inputting the information themselves and continuing to develop their own learning from a very independent, self-developed process. It encourages incredibly active and also self-directed learning. And the technology that's currently been in place with educational technology over the past years has definitely been more aligned with reinforcing old systems of teaching as opposed to supporting very specific individualized approaches to teaching. And the take is really that AI is going to encourage more of these individualized, directed approaches of teaching for individual student paths as opposed to traditional instructional practices which ask students to do a completely different type of process. The evolution of AI in education has really come of light lately because of the access of the OpenAI technology such as ChatGPT, and the accessibility of this technology has opened up doors for a wide range of users really quickly. So that's really why it's become a discussion point so quickly, but it does have a history in education in the past 60 years. So just remember, like a lot of these conversations that have been started around AI kind of evolved from just the pure fact that more people have access to it and are starting to use it. Two tools I'd like to just discuss briefly is ChatGPT and Perplexity AI. ChatGPT is a generative AI tool with responses based on prompts and questions. It has a paid version which enables plugins and extensions and already in different levels of development. The plugins and extensions enable it to scrape the web, provide and create graphics, also do advanced searches which bring in resources off the internet. And they have a wide range of available plugins that you can integrate with the paid version that bring the capability of the tool to a higher level. Perplexity AI has in its free version some of these web scraping tools built in. Now, it's always important to be sure that the resources that are being provided with any sort of prompt are good resources, that you vet them, that you take a look at them, and make sure that they are what you're looking for based on the prompt you've given. Now, it's a generative AI tool. Once again, it's based on prompts and responses, but you always need to think about engineering your prompts to kind of get the best answer, asking additional questions and pushing it a little further to kind of refine what you're looking for. So some of the sample benefits of these types of tools for educators, of course, is using prompts for lesson design, using prompts for student assessment, using prompts for presentations and content and creating outlines. But some of the downsides is that it's not always accurate. It might have some flaws, it might have some inaccurate sources related to it. It also requires citations and follow-up and tracking to make sure that the information that you're getting from it is accurate and relevant to what you plan on using it for. It also requires thoughtful prompts. So when you're thinking about asking a question, you need to think about making that question as specific to what you need, and also checking resources on whether or not the responses you're receiving and then planning to implement are not only valid, but thorough. It's not a set and leave alone type of process. It's something where you need to be thoughtful, think about your prompts, and think about how you're going to continue to push them deeper, whether it's based on the curriculum, activities you'd like to apply, specific learning objectives within the curriculum, or any type of activities you want to add to a lesson, or the framework of a lesson. I want to provide some simple starting points if you're looking to get started with AI in the classroom or in your own personal use. I've, of course, spoken a little bit about Perplexity AI and ChatGPT with plugins, Canva for creating graphics, SendSteps.ai is a tool for generating presentations and content. Google Bard is Google's AI tool, which works on some of the same generative AI practices and processes as ChatGPT and Perplexity AI. But all of these tools are under continual development, so you will start to see different types of features built in within the tools. Quillbot is a writing assistant Chrome extension, I believe from the same company as Grammarly. SlidesAI.io is a presentation slide deck tool that is also a Chrome extension that integrates with Google Slides to help you create slideshows based on templates and get you started for creating a framework for presentations. Now, of course, some of the benefits of AI in education beyond just these tools is enhanced personalized learning. So being able to personalize instruction focused on very specific needs, because we have the capability of finding and asking questions and developing resources that can help support individual students, and also the data collection tools to help enhance performance over time. It also improves in student engagement and retention in that the use of AI can be highly beneficial to help a student have an individualized learning path and really push their own learning further. And of course, efficient administrative tasks, early identification of learning difficulties based on their ability to utilize a tool and understand concepts with getting research completed, and data-driven decision-making, of course. These tools are going to collect data, provide insights related to how students are performing, how teachers are creating lessons, and whether or not where the key impacts in education are with the use of the tools, and teachers' instruction and student learning. AI definitely has a place in the future of all classrooms due to its incredible power. AI-powered curriculum development will help conceptualize ideas faster and make them deeper, also more collaboratively as we begin to use more collaborative AI tools with other educators and integrate the data that we have around searches and features as we move forward. There's also adaptive learning platforms, so platforms will become more able to adapt to student learning needs. Intelligent tutoring systems that are going to know what types of content to provide for specific students based on how they performed so far. Virtual and augmented reality in education, where AI will be able to create multiple different types of worlds that utilize virtual reality or new opportunities to see places in the world. And of course, AI-driven assessments and grading, being able to collect data faster, look at that data, and have critical data to be able to make decisive choices. So some recommendations as we move forward: have steps to evaluate the use of AI for yourself and for your students within your classroom or within your school. Also, build AI literacy amongst fellow educators and amongst students around the proper ethics and best practices for using AI. Also, strategies for overcoming challenges. Come up with some strategies for when challenges arise with the use of AI, solutions that are effective, ethical, and appropriate. As also utilize and think about how you're going to fund the use of AI over time. It's definitely a new type of resource, and as it grows and develops, these things begin to have costs because they have tremendous benefits, and the development will continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper. So there's definitely going to be a need at some point for funding related to AI resources. So some key takeaways from this presentation: I hope that any tool that you decide to use in the classroom, be sure that it's been vetted for appropriate data privacy, and be sure that there's a data privacy and contract. Do not have students log into resources with their own credentials unless the vendor has signed a data privacy contract. Also, use your professional judgment when using these tools so that you can model ethics and proper use of these tools. If you're unsure of a tool, don't be afraid to ask someone who's used the tool before or what the right thing to do is with the use of this tool. And also, it's very important to develop and foster an understanding within your school or your classroom of the universal foundation of how AI works and what it can and can't do. Okay? This is going to help support This is going to help support educators and students that you're working with, that you're utilizing these tools in an effective way, but also an ethical and appropriate way. And always encourage ethical and critical thinking with these tools. These tools, yes, they seem like they do their own type of thinking, but they're only really taking the types of information that's inputted into them. So be sure that you are encouraging students and even other educators while you're working with these tools to foster ethical and critical thinking while using AI in the classroom. So thanks for checking out the video. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you again.